What it, what it, what it, what it, what it. It's your boy ELOOO here, man, and I got a special guest in the building. We're here today with Coach Bobby Sullivan. How you doing today, Coach?
Blessed.
Yes, sir, man. We're here with Coach Bobby, man. It's an honor to be on here with you, being able to have the conversations we've been having. And man, let's tell them a little bit about you, because we got to tell them about Silverback Sports.
Well, Silverback Sports is a decorated apparel company here, but what I got going on mostly is coaching the youth. Coaching high school football for the last 3 years. With 12 years experience before that, and about 20 years experience in the youth football. But as far as Silverback Sports, yeah, we're a decorated apparel company here in Port St. Lucie. We do a lot of team uniforms, a lot of community building, a lot of stuff like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. So, man, you've been talking lately, and we've been talking about the community, the football realm, different things of such. In St. Lucie County, what do you think the layout, the state of football? What condition are we in here?
I think winning. You had obviously Vero just lost a heartbreaker in the state championship. You had Central make a good run. Y'all were, I think, finished runner-up in the FIT,
Right.
the first ever FIT. Centennial made the FIT. I mean, the talent's there. I think we all can agree with St. Lucie County, the issues I think we have differently from some of the other areas in the state is we are extremely watered down. I mean, there's a lot of options, a lot of different schools. I think we're up to 7? I think Legacy made like 7 high schools.
Yeah.
We have 3 7A programs in a 6-mile radius, which is crazy, with Central, Treasure Coast, Centennial, and then right up the road, 20 miles is Vero. So, I mean, that's where I think with St. Lucie County, I think there's a lot of watered down, and I think a lot of lack of focus at the youth level. There's really no feeder programs. I mean, I think some do a good job, but I think there should be a lot more.
Definitely. And when you say feeder programs, such as that program from the Little League is sending kids directly to a certain high school.
Absolutely. And I think I can't speak for every high school, but what I've seen in the youth, you have the Spartans, you have the Firehawks. Those are kind of the 2 established ones. I know the Patriots, Treasure Coast Patriots. But again, for instance, I'll take the 300 boys. Great run. Won and I competed consistently since they were 9 years old. I think they represent every single school on the Treasure Coast.
Right.
They're not like filtered in. I know we have a few, y'all have a few.
Right.
So again, at that level, it's more coaching football, coaching young men, and we have no idea where they're going to go. It's much different where I'm from. Where I'm from, we ran the same. Our middle school football ran the same offense our high school ran, and we were ready to go the day we walked into the school. And we had a ton of support from the high school. But again, when you have 7 different high schools and 6 different youth football programs, the consistency just isn't there.
Correct. And so that's something that we see a lot down south, man. We see that a lot down south. Northwestern kids is playing for a certain Little League team. Carroll City kids, they all play for a certain Little League team. That being said, what do you feel like can be done to make it a better situation to set up a feeder program from league to high schools? Like, which league do you think would commit with, like, Centennial, bring your kids in from Centennial?
It's hard. It's hard to say simply because of the zoning. These travel programs, they're kids from everywhere. So our 300 boys, I mean, we had kids from Sebastian River, we had kids from Okeechobee, we had kids from Port St. Lucie, Fort Pierce. So, to dictate that they're all going to be able to go to one school is probably not even an option. The thing is again, consistency in coaching, stepping aside and saying, hey, this is the type of football we're going to play. We're developing athletes. So when they do transition into that high school, we all know Treasure Coast is going to run the football. A wide receiver, does he really want to? Well, if you're a football player, you're a football player.
Right.
I think the high schools do not do a good job with supporting the youth. I don't see any. I mean, even running the Rise and Freshman, where we originally met was the Rise and Freshman game last year. And I mean, from a parent coach side, how many coaches did you see out there that were consistently showing up, checking in? I mean, that James put that Rise and Freshman thing on spotlight for coaches to get to know the kids that are probably coming in.
Right.
And I think we fail as a high school staff sometimes to take a look at that.
Right, man. I tell you what, and that's a beautiful situation that James Mons put on over there. And actually, we got to speak on that, man. That's where I meant you at, like you just stated. Your son played, my son played. They both had a heck of a game, man. And then they both stood out this year as freshmen and had a heck of a freshman season. Actually, I've been coaching against your son twice. He torches on a Thursday night. I don't know how many yards he threw for, but it was a heck of a game, man. With that being said, we're getting on that layout there. What type of things do you think parents should be doing with their kids as setting up from 8th grade to freshman year, starting a high school career?
That's a good question. I mean, there's fine lines because a lot of active parents like yourself, myself, there's a lot of guys who have committed to coaching, dads. But then you'll have a lot of differences where, my biggest thing that I've noticed in this area is the parents are shying from the competition. What's
Right.
easy, and it's trickling down obviously from the college level and going where you want to go to transfer portal. We've all had that, heard that forever, the transfer portal now. And it's trickling down to these parents where, oh, my kid has to be, playing varsity as a freshman. My kid has to be doing this, but yet they're not building the structure during that 8th grade run. I mean, I know personally guys who have literally stayed away from us because they didn't want their son to compete with my son at the quarterback spot. Now in their mind, they're doing something great. They're like, oh, well, he's going to get reps. Well, unqualified reps don't mean anything at the next level. If you're getting reps to get reps, I mean, it is what it is. And you're starting to see it at that high school level. You're starting to see your son making an impact at his high school. My son made an impact early on. And there's a lot, we've, I think our two schools respectively have a really bright future with those young 28s, 29s. I mean, they're stellar guys, but these parents are running from competition. Their children, and they're instilling that in their children, like running from competition. It blows my mind. And then you expect them to go and take over a leadership role as a freshman or a varsity starting spot or even a JV starting spot.
Right.
So I think parents need to understand there's a process, and we need our young athletes, our young student athletes, to understand the process, respect the process, and stop focusing on the results.
I made a statement on the show the other day, and I was saying how, a lot of these kids, they're on these powerful teams, but they're not playing against anybody. And then they get to high school, and you're not playing against your same age group. It's not just 12U, it's not just 14U. You actually could be 15 playing against 18, 19-year-olds who's been training since they was in 9U, 10U, 12U. So you got to try to train your kid up at a high level. They're hard.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I've always said, and I've preached this to my boys and preached this to the kids that I train and all the kids I've been blessed to be around, is if you really want to be elite, you have to dominate your peers, period. Correct. If you're not dominating your peers, you cannot consider yourself elite. Now, could you get to be elite? Of course, but that's going to transpire as you're dominating your peers. I mean, I've always instilled it in my two sons that, you can hoop and holler and post on Instagram and post a highlight. Listen, everybody in America's got a dang highlight. Right. Everybody. I can give you film from a local rec program that could produce a highlight. But
Correct.
I'm telling you right now, if you ain't dominating your peers, you are not elite.
Oh yeah. Let's you not to cut you off there, but you just spoke on something that I got a great question for. The good and bad of social media for this age group. What do you think social media is doing in a good way for the kids, and what do you think social media is doing in a bad way for the kids?
I think I think a good way. We live in this world now of, and we've kind of been conditioned to any publicity is good publicity, bad, right? All this stuff. I mean, you see some of these little influencers, the young guys, that rightfully so, like the Blazes of the world, the Gronk, the baby Gronk. I mean, you can look at the baby Gronk stuff, and half the world will think it's good, half the world will think it's bad,
Right.
but you're seeing them every day. So the good is as parents, as coaches, as everything else, you're starting to see even colleges starting to see these younger kids. You're seeing the Miami Garden Ravens kid getting
Yeah.
offers. We
Right.
have locally, we have an absolute stud, and I think he's Kenny. We've talked about him before. Lil Carter Cass, like,
Yes, sir.
just picked up a U offer, but that happens from social media. I mean, those guys aren't out at a youth football game,
Right.
for the most part, they're not. So I think the benefits of that is definitely it's eyes, and all it takes in our game is one pair of eyes to believe in you.
Right.
The negatives, I think, is the expectations. I think if you're not mentally built up, I mean, us as adults, myself, I'll use myself as an example. You know, I feel a certain way when something negative happens on social media, and I'm a grown man who's been through a lot. I've been through a lot of trials and tribulations. And I take away negative feelings. And how are we supposed to expect our 14-year-old children to look at some of those negatives, or what they're being compared to? This guy's doing this, and I don't have the fun or the means to do it. So I think a big negative for the social media in today's world is the expectations or the comparisons. You can't compete where you don't compare,
Correct.
and I just think that when done right and tastefully, I think it could build a lot of positives. But at the same time, us as parents, we got to let our children understand that it's other people's opinions,
Right.
and where's our headspace? We got to be confident in what we're doing. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that.
Definitely. One thing that I experienced this year was my first year coaching high school ball. One thing that I noticed was a lot of the kids, they don't watch football, they watch highlights. So they're watching all the clips on social media, but they're not watching the first to the fourth quarter thoroughly to understand the game of football. So now we're running into what I've been calling the social media babies, and all they want to do is create highlights like you was just speaking on. And it's like, no, you need to know the game. You need to know if it's fourth quarter and we don't have too many timeouts left and we a couple minutes to the game ending, you need to be getting out of bounds. Everything need to be ready to out of bounds. It's just the small things. We had kids trying to create highlights at crucial times of the game instead of just stepping out of bounds.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's one of the negatives of social media to me. They want to have the best huddle clip, the best quick cuts video they can find. It's like, no, we need to execute raw, basic football.
Sure.
And if we can do that, we can have more teams making runs like the teams you named earlier.
Absolutely. And it's funny too, because it's transition. I mean, and I love them to death. I think it's amazing what some of these young guys are doing as far as video and media, and they're giving these kids a great platform, and it is cool. But again, what are you doing outside of that? Perfect example is my older son. When he was being recruited in the area, he had to submit practice film. Like, his game film was spectacular, right? Like, everybody's game film, if you're a good football player, should be good enough to where you can throw a 10. Let's face it, it's a 10 game season. If you're lucky, you get to play more. If you can't put together a 4 to 8 minute highlight film of 10 games, then you're not even a football player, number one. But what are you doing at practice? What are you doing during your skelly drill? What are you doing during your individual drills? Are you sitting in the back? Are you going through it? And as my son got recruited, that's what they wanted to see. We were uploading practice film. Consistent 15-minute film where it's uninterrupted because of the highlight extravaganza that everybody is on.
Right.
But again, if we train if our kids have the fundamentals and the work ethic, the highlights are going to come regardless.
Correct.
I mean, it just is. Kids getting out of a break is more impressive as a coach. A kid who can get in and out of their break and be where they need to be is a lot cooler to me than that one-handed catch that they're going to make 3 times in a 10-game season.
Correct. Very true, man. And then that everyday work ethic on video and practice, showing that you're not in practice taking reps off. You actually in here trying to grow, and that's where developments happen. And if you can watch your everyday practice film and learn from it, that's like one of the biggest parts of development to me.
Absolutely. Building habits, man. It's just like it's not rocket science. It doesn't matter what we do. I've always told my kids, if you choose not to play football or sports in general and you want to play the drums, be the best damn drummer.
Right.
And that's gonna, that's from habits and building the fundamentals and non-negotiables.
The other day when you spoke on that right there. You spoke on coaching, for reals, coaching to build these young men up to be men, to be leaders in the community, leaders in their household, and that is the exact thing. To me, that's how you build a winning football team. If you got the right character, the right type of mindset, you have no choice but to win. And that's why I love football so much, because football relates to life. If you can get the ins and outs of what's going on that football field, you can be successful in life.
Absolutely. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Like, as far as us as coaches, there's a very small amount that get to go to that next level and play after their senior year. Some of these, majority of these guys, after that last game, when that whistle blows and those lights go out, that's the last time they're putting on them helmet and shoulder pads. But they have 100% chance, like we discussed, to be good husbands, good fathers, good sons, good brothers, good people. 100% of them can do that, compared to the 1% that get to go off and live a dream and establish their future and use that as a tool to get to work, because it all ends. I mean, even 10-year vets in football, it all ends.
Correct.
There comes a time when it's helmets to the right, shoulder pads to the left.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then 2 things to piggyback on that. I mean, that's when you go to talking about the mental health. Something we spoke on the other day, the mental health of a football player, because like you just said, that one day, that helmet to the right, helmet to the left situation is going to be real. And you got to have something to do after that. So last night we had a coaches meeting, and the number one thing I was wondering about was recruiting. And one of the coaches said something profound. He said, everybody not D1 material. We should really evaluate these kids at a high level so that we can present them to the proper levels. So what do you feel about the high school recruitment that's going on, and how do you feel that we can make it more rampant in this area with the kids going to schools?
I think again, expectations. I think everybody wants to go D1, everybody wants to go P4, but do your grades represent, like, does your life represent that P4, that D1?
That's powerful.
I mean, does your whole life, does your habits, when you wake up every morning, does that represent a D1 P4 guy? Because that's what it's going to take. I mean, we all know. Everybody asks, what's the difference? The difference is from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, and every time in between, other than that football field.
Yes, sir.
What are you doing? I mean, kids are it's unbelievable what these athletes do. The size, I mean, the game has evolved so much that it's going to take way more than what you do on the football field to become that P4 D1 guy.
Correct.
And we say it all the time. If you get to play a down of football after high school, you win.
Yes,
You
sir.
won. I mean, back in the day, we used to degrade D3, JUCO, this and that.
Right.
And that was an absolute foolish mindset. If I could go back in time and understand that more younger,
Right.
I probably would have been a more successful coach and person. I mean, I fell into that trap. Like, I got to go D1. I got to go, but I don't think my habits and my lifestyle were, I was blessed to be able to play that. But, a lot of these guys, are your habits, is your vision and your goals set to really do that?
With that being said, what do you think? This one, I've been going off the bulletin points with the questions, but this one right here, one of the last ones that I had in here, and then we can chop it up some more. But what do you think a parent can do for their kid? I know this is how I'm supposed to go. How involved should a parent be in the recruitment of a high school student?
My opinion is when they're younger. Let's break it down in phases. You got your 8th grade, you got your 7th and 8th grade where you're really just trying to figure out what you're at. There's no high school in America that I know of that gives a rat's booty what you did in youth football. National champion. They want to know, the most important thing, are you coachable?
Correct.
Are you coachable? Do you have the basic habits that are going to excel? And what do you bring to their program? And how are you going to individually make their program better? So as far as a recruitment standpoint, I see it all the time, and I'm sure it's no rocket. You got these parents that are I always say, paying their way into these showcases, paying these ways into these special things. I just had a conversation with a former player that made some special thing, and it's costing them a lot of money and travel and all that. I'm a firm believer, if it's real, it's free.
Correct.
Or it's sponsored. When I was blessed to play in the game, my mom was a single mom. We didn't have to pay to go to the All-American game.
Right.
It was taken care of. But from a recruiting standpoint, I mean, getting the information, that we live in a high-tech world. You can go in a chat GPT and probably get a ton of resources to figure out. I think camps are super important young. Let them go to an individual camp.
Right.
Most of those camps are very affordable. If you look at a lot of the college camps, they're $25 to $40.
Mm-hmm.
But you got parents that are spending $450 to wear a pretty uniform and say, I was an All-American.
Right.
All-American what? But the recruiting, I think they have to be involved. I think they have to do their research on what are their expectations. I think if everybody agrees on the expectations, what are your expectations for Coach Bobby going into Centennial High School to help your child get recruited? Then you put them in those goals. If you think your kid's a D1 kid, they better be special. But yeah, as far as recruiting, I think they have to be hands-on early. Put your children in the best opportunities to be recruited, which is usually special training, extra positional group work. Because like I said, your son was an absolute stud, but him coming into my program, I might change his position.
Right.
And we got to be able to bounce into that. Well, no, my kid's this. Well, okay, well, show me.
Right.
But yeah, recruiting, I think early on they have to, and then hands-on early on, but putting them in the best position. And then as far as the high school goes, I mean, these kids are kind of having to do it themselves. I'm seeing it a lot. Their huddle videos, they got to learn. There's a program that they can all follow. This is what a highlight video should look like. This is what I should be doing. This is the contacts I should be reaching out. Twitter, reach out. I mean, I think you said it the other day. I think I saw one of your shorts was, if you want to know who the wide receivers coach is at the University of Miami,
Correct.
find out. Like, you have that access. It's not overkill. It's going to take 40 emails before they might see one. It might take 40 posts before they might see it. But again, at the end of the day, what parents need to understand, it only takes one set of eyes to believe in your baby to give them an opportunity.
Right. Yeah, I told my son last night. I said, you get the first list of coaches. Now it's time to hit Google, find the rest of the schools that's in the state of Florida, and start sending them out. Start tagging them. Start liking posts on their pages, and you got to make that report.
Sure. Yep.
So, Coach, man, we've talked. We made it through the 15s, but if you could leave us with one take that you got for us, what would that be?
I would say, I found, I'll use an example for myself. I sat with my two children that, one's going to be, they're rising sophomore and rising junior. And, what we had them do was we had them sit down, and do a vision board.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds cliche. It sounds maybe a little corny, sounds a little goofy, but we set that up. And as parents, what we were trying to do is we were trying to see what their goals were. Let's be honest, their goals might not be our goals. Their ideas of doing what we expect them to do may not correlate with them right now as a freshman and sophomore. So we took their vision board and we sat down, me and their mom, and we said, all right, there's their goals. Now, us as parents got to do what is best for us to get them to their goals.
Right.
And their goals might be simple. It might be, I want to play college football. I want to be the best keyboard player at Centennial. I want to do this, that. I want to be the fastest guy on the track team.
Right.
But as a parent, sitting with my young athletes and my student athletes, like, what are your goals? And we as adults have to understand that it's okay for their goals to not align with our goals, but we need to help guide them to whatever they are looking at as their goals, and then they're going to change, and then we change. And I fell victim to it myself. I pushed a certain trajectory for my kids, and I had to peel it back a little bit, because there is a fine line, I think. Now, again, it's being involved. If you really want to do those things, you have to be involved in the big picture, and you have to trust the process. There is a process. Focus on the extra training, the extra showing up to workouts. You can't be that guy if you're missing summer workouts. You can't be that guy if your coach at the high school level can't rely on you.
Yes, sir.
So that's what I try and do. I try and instill reliability and accountability and showing up, man.
Man, that's amazing, man. Coach, it's been a pleasure to talk with you, and we got to do this some more for sure. We actually been running just at 30 minutes. Beautiful situation here. I want to thank you for coming on today, man. The knowledge that you dropped on the Sipp This Coffee staff here is going to be really useful for a lot of parents out there, because there's a lot of folks that watch the show and they always let me know that they learned something from it, they took something from it, and I already know for a fact I took something from this, so I know you're going to help a lot of parents out with this one here today. So, man, I look forward to doing this again with you, Coach.
Absolutely. What you're doing, like I said, that's how I linked up. I saw some of your stuff and talking to you, even at the Rising Freshman stuff, and then watching you, grow them young men at Westwood on that JV program, stepping up, man. It's kudos to you. Hats off to you, hats off.
Thank you. Likewise.
A lot of respect.
Same to you, Coach. Maybe one day we'll be on the same side doing our thing together, huh?
I hear you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, Coach, you have a great day, and hey, sip some coffee while you're out there this morning.
You got it, sir.
All right, Coach.
All right.